left, right, and centre. Then subscribe. Am I not worth your Amazon Prime sub? I see how it is. I've changed a lot of settings, by the way. I don't know if it looks better, if it sounds better. I'm hoping it sounds better. It looks better on my screen. Alakazam. Alakazam. Oh. It's a lot better, actually. It's more stable. I fucking love the music. Bear me 1 second. Alakazam. There we go, right. I don't understand how that is an old song. One thing I need to do is get my dog.
Submits to the truth.
Submit.
Vile creature. What
Demon uses
uses
strength.
You shall remain awake
Not good enough.
Fuck off. The elusive canine has disappeared yet again. But I think I know where he is. I think, anyway. We'll find out in a minute, I guess. It's not even debugging at this point, it's just straight up not liking me. I can't see any reason why. I could just go down this route and just let you see my shitty background. I suppose I could actually, to be fair. Nah, don't like that. Keep it on there like that. There we go. Because like, even when I'm looking at my stats, it's not overloading or nothing. Ah, he's there. He's there. He was being a douchebag this entire time. Well, actually, now I know he's here, let's go back to the sewers. Have I appeased the machine spirit? The fuck you mean by that? What the hell is the machine spirit? Oh, unless you're referring to my computer, and yes, it has been given all its love. Get fucked, you. Do do do. Pa 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 fire. My dog's not here. My dog is here. Good.
Charity, pal. 500 ticks or you ain't moving an inch.
These local hooligans think they can just bully us and take what they want. Well, we won't stand for it. It's a fight for our dignity and safety.
What's the plan, Chief? We're in a bit of a pickle here, and we need some guidance.
Simple. End them.
Bugger this!
Am I getting involved in this or what?
Leave me alone!
I'm guessing I should do, because they are red. Health! 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 Never mind. No matter what I did, I was gonna die. Ba 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 da. Ba 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 da. Ba 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 da. Wait, why am I here? Oh, yeah. Huh. All those greens.
This ain't no charity, pal. 500 ticks or you ain't moving an inch.
These local hooligans think they can just bully us and take what they want. Well, we won't stand for it.
No, you won't. And this time, I'm gonna be prepared.
It's a fight for our dignity and safety.
What's the plan, Chief? We're in a bit of a pickle here, and we need some guidance.
Simple.
It's not Liam Gallagher.
Bugger this!
Leave me alone!
Okay, well, it turns out I'm shit with guns, so... I've had what's that thing I picked up earlier? Not that, but we'll use that. Right away, right away, right away, right away! Ah! Fallout. Fallout for you right there.
These local hooligans think they can just bully us and take what they want. Well, we won't stand for it. It's a fight for our dignity and safety.
Right, my mate.
Leave me alone.
You gotta tell me twice. It's alright, farmers, on with you. I did. Fuck you. That's how you do it. Where's the other guy? Hellfish and bonk. Oh, there he is.
I knew it would end this way. Fine.
Yeah.
I am back. It's completely died again. And I don't know why it keeps doing it. I have no idea. But I might just take it off and just swap it over entirely. So if I turn that off there, put you on there like that, it'll change it so much so. What does that do? If I change it to that? Nothing. Oh no, it just completely freezes it. That's expected. How about that? Nope, same again. Okay, how about that? Okay, that one works. Maybe if I reduce that. We'll see if that works, I guess. It's just so annoying, man. Like, it's getting too annoying. It's done it again straight off the bar, isn't it? How's that sound? Is that okay? It's just getting so annoying. So we'll just keep on that like that. Because I can't keep messing around with it. It's going to drive me insane otherwise. Yeah, luckily for you... Hello. Luckily for you, there's definitely going to be some memes you can make. Sorry, give me 1 second. Just want to make sure I'm not too loud for you. Do I sound okay, Lyndon? Cool, okay. Hopefully then now, the only thing that'll drop off should be my microphone. Which if that drops, then I don't know how I can fix that. But we'll see what happens.
Welcome, friend. Glad to see you. Thameshaven. You are.
Watch where you're going.
You gotta love streaming. Where was I going? I was gonna spend some money, that's what I was gonna do. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Flying Dutchman.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Lyndon.
What are you?
Oh, whoops, that's the wrong thing.
I thought that would be.
You don't mean to call him what I called him. Maybe I could sell him some bits. Especially liquids I won't use. I won't drink that. He looks weird.
No, sorry about that, human.
Move out my way. There was a doctor somewhere down here. And I can't remember where. Ah, here he is.
Need help?
Kind of.
I should be able to spare some.
What you got for me? Oh, something's buzzing. Hello? Is that okay? Or is that now too loud? I fucking hate this sometimes. We're dicking around the minute something breaks. It's not fun sometimes. Has it not changed at all? Well, then I will leave it alone. So expensive. So expensive. Right, okay, maybe I don't need it from you then.
It's learned to swim today. So proud of them.
Yeah, not gonna pay. No, not doing that.
Goodbye.
Hey. Right, I need certain ammo from you. I need 280, flame, and 303.
A fresh Drylander. What are you buying? Weapons it is. Blunt, sharp, or shooty.
Because they're pretty much are waterless frogs. Oof. Jesus. I don't remember the fuck it. Oh, that looks fun. There's a lot of guns here. I don't remember them being so expensive for ammunition. I do need your 303 though, so I will buy them. So expensive though. I need 280 still as well. We don't sell 280.
Warriors of the deep, monsters.
Can you make ammo
Can't
in
they
this?
just leave us alone?
No, but you don't have flame ammo anyway either. That's sad. Hold on a minute. Ammo crafting? What? Oh.
Let the surface dwellers kill each other. We'll be safe here.
Okay. Okay. So fertilizer and steel. I can get that.
Typical human.
Move. Fucking move.
Nothing like a It's always a pleasure to see you feel alive.
You don't sell shit. I think you sell stuff.
Your kind does have two eyes, right?
Yes. Must be someone who sells generic shit, surely.
One day, I'll take my family to see
No,
the
you don't
sunrise.
sell anything.
One day.
Shut up, you. Ah. Guns, guns, guns. No, no, no. I need fertilizer. You like you sell something?
Not sure if I'll ever get over seeing a
No? Okay, never mind.
Hopefully the ferryman will get us some mitten lurk eggs soon.
Shut the fuck up.
Delicious.
No, you're just townsfolk. Let me in. Oh?
Make it quick. I'm a bit busy at the moment.
Bob, it's them. They're coming.
Sweetheart, it's fine. It's just a visitor. Make it quick. Did he now? That changes things.
Breathes very heavily.
Charity. In this world, might call Satan. Seems like hell's frozen over. Just how much has the ferryman told you? Sadly, that's about all.
Yeah, just a
we
bit.
know. The last guy to go missing was Cole Blakely. He's the freshest lead we have. If you find out what happened to him, then you'll probably find the rest.
My god needs an inhaler.
Take these. This should get you into Cole's shack. It's the dilapidated old lean-to on the northwest corner. It's easy to miss it. Before you go, do you have any questions? Young guy, mid-20s.
I don't know. They look like
Kept to
some
himself
weird
mostly.
Doctor Who-y creature.
Some would say he wasn't all there, but in a harmless way. Wouldn't be like him to just wander off. He was Jeremy's deputy. Not that that means much round there. Good luck. For both your sake and ours.
Okie dokie.
The surface world gets louder and louder each day.
Stupid little termite thing. Wait, dog. I swear to fuck, that dog is going to make me want to kill something. Oh my god, fucking move! I want that so badly. I wonder if I can buy fertilizer from you actually.
Right. Weapons it is.
I literally have nothing else. Will that be one each? No, that's not fucking four each. Brr. Okay, well, that kind of changes everything. Where the fuck's me dog? Stop humping the lizard.
Watch where you're going.
Shut up. Too much of that stuff. He is just having fun. Churchill's just vibing. That's all he's doing. No, wrong way. For fuck's sake. The Covent Garden. Hey, Pingu. How's it going, dude? Look, I only messaged you because I knew this is something you enjoyed watching. Like, really enjoyed watching. What are you doing, dude? Wait, can I build? I can build 7 here, can't I? Ah, did I store shit here or not? Aha! Ha. You know what? I knew somewhere I stored stuff. This changes everything. Nah, you're a good dude. Obviously, you do load of shit anyway. So, it's fine. You're here now, and you can rewatch the other VOD as well. So, it's all a win. But yeah, I'm good now, mate. Just, drinking along. A wine tasting? That's very bougie. Very bougie. But how was it? I do like a good wine. Don't remember what that was. Oh, dude, you didn't have to subscribe, but thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Goes a long way, especially at the moment. Trying to sort out a lot of shit. So I do appreciate it very much. You'll be happy to know as well that there's a lot of things in this that have changed and actually makes things a bit better to play with. Whiskey and beers. Yeah, see, that would send me... I would be drinking a lot. That was me. Where's that fucking dog? Churchill, come here. Churchill, stop. You weird gobby thing. Of course. Oh, I thought I was wearing that. Turns out I wasn't. Don't need that, don't need that. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Vodka is not King Linden. So that's just no. Ugh. Vodka. Well, vodka's about the only thing I can't really drink. It just is not a vibe for me. Alright, let's go sell some more shit. Thames Haven Market. Nev, I am a whiskey Jaeger kind of guy. Whiskey and Jaeger all day long. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you're bored of vodka, Pingy, in the slightest, to be honest. It's just one of those drinks. Ugh, it's horrible. I will be back in 2 seconds. Just want to get a quick drink, speaking of booze. So I will BRB. Have some music.
The surface world gets louder and louder each day.
My hounds learned to swim today. So proud of them. Thames Haven, you are my pride and joy.
They call us sea devils, warriors of the deep, monsters. Can't they just leave us alone?
Oh, I'm back. Hello, Von London. My favourite German. And I had to do it also.
Nothing like a swim in
Oh, excuse me.
to make you feel alive.
Wait, where's Dog? Dog's there.
A fresh Drylander. What are you buying?
Oh, I need Doggo. Goodbye.
Farewell.
Bye-bye. Dog. Stop running away. Ah, you bastard. Fortunately, I am not Welsh. Oh, encumbered. What if I can get in there?
A fresh Drylander. What are you buying?
I'm not. I'm selling,
Weapons
you
it is.
slimy fuck.
Brunch.
So I do want that. I do want that. I need one of those. I don't need that anymore. I don't need two of those. Okay, no, and I've got a shelf for that. I may as well keep it. Flame, I want to keep that. Don't need a flare gun. I want to keep them. 9mm glow pistol, knuckles. I can probably go. That's useful. That can be binned. That can be binned, and that cannot be binned. That can be binned. That can be binned. Hello. You just missed Pinky. Pinky was here. He might still be here, actually, come to think of it. Keep that. I'm just trying to sort out shit, because I've got so many weapons. I don't need all these weapons. Yay, silly. Cool. Coolio. Just trying to work out shit I don't need.
One day, I'll take my family to see the surface.
No, that's a lie. Churchill can carry a lot more than that. He's just a little fucking dickweed. Come on, you. This isn't very Fallouty, this song. Let's start it again. There we go. Oh, fuck me, I've got loads of stuff in there as well. Fuck. Right, okay, okay. This is good because I've completely forgot I had all this. Right, because there's loads. These don't weigh anything, do they? Ah, junk. Right. This is good actually, because now I didn't realise I had all this fucking shit on me. Right. So armor wise, let's get this back up working. 24. No, that's not going to work, is it? You can suggest clothes all you want. Whether or not I wear them, or a different story. Wait, spike and cage. Okay, let's wear the cage armor. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So, weapons. We'll go for the 32. I'm pretty sure it's a knife. So we'll carry that with us. Take one of you. Take you. Take you. You're heavy, so I'm going to take you. I need to find some fuel ammo as well. Obviously, we'll take a service rifle. And that's been a fucking lifesaver. Pretty good as well. Right. You're telling me... right. Antibiotics and stuff. I don't need that. I can cook bloatfly meat. That'd be good. That makes me sad. Cheeseweed. I need quite a bit of stuff to cook. You don't want Dexy. Don't need Dexy. Eat some mess, absolutely. Fox steak, yep. Fox steak, yep. Yep. We'll take those two. Indian food. Iron brews, of course. Don't know what that is. Magic milk. Well, loads of shit here, actually. I know, right? It's great. I just love the vibes. Right. I don't know if there's anything else I need. Don't know if I need that, but I'm going to take it anyway. There's loads of shit that I don't think I need, but yep, I'm going to carry you. Got to take pound coins. No, it's not froze. It's just me. The camera has frozen multiple times. Or has it froze? It shouldn't have froze. Total sleep 24 hours. Is it froze? Or we good? Yeah, it's fine to me as well, Rip. Brr. Right. Let's do some shit. So, recurrent quest line. So, we did that main quest. So, we'll do this one. Lay of the Land. Which is just there. I'm so happy this isn't bugged anymore either. Because part of the reason why I stopped playing it, because the bugging was just so bad. Can you hear that music? You can, yeah. Cool. Yeah, sorry, I've had to dick around with all sorts of settings. So many things broke. It was actually quite painful. Right, dog's there. Let's go. I don't trust post boxes anymore. Churchill found an enemy. Well, where the fuck's That's why I don't trust post boxes anymore. For fuck's sake. Where'd he go? Fuck off. Fucking me, you fuck. You are going to fuck me up, aren't you? Yep. Shut up. Don't die, don't die, survive! Stupid thing. Honestly, I hate them. They come out of fucking nowhere. Oh, number dog's down as well. You good? Honestly, these fucking things scare the shit out of me sometimes. Friendly? Enemy? Who knows? Oh, this is new. Oh, I tried to find this the other day, but I couldn't see it. See, it still amazes me how good this game actually looks and plays. Shut up, child. Why? I'm friendly. Or am I not? What? I'm confused. Well, you're a bar. I don't understand why they're all so scared of me. Who are we shooting at? Patel Singh. Oh my god. Not irradiated water? Oh no, it is irradiated.
Help me! Someone!
What's this? Eastminster slums. Right, let's just help these guys out over here.
blood in my eyes.
Well, nice. You're fucked. Yeah, let's go. Charge. No, I didn't mean to hit you, Edith. I'm sorry. Wait, seriously? I didn't mean to hit you. Stop trying to stun me, you crazy bitch. I will fuck you up. I know I'm not supposed to kill you, and I can't. Oh well, shit, I can kill you. Okay, that's not good. I had to let them kill me. I had no choice. I actually had no choice. Because they're part of the storyline. I can't have them as an enemy. Epi, shut the fuck up. How you doing, dude? Eat cheese. Eatcheese.com. You still streaming, Tom? Oh, I'm here. Okay. Let's just get rid of some rats. I've been playing the beta on PlayStation. I was playing on this. I must admit though, I'm not a huge fan. Might be because it's on console and not PC. But on console, I can't play on console. I'm so shit at FPSs. Mouse and keyboard, I'm a lot better. That's a given now. All the cats are downstairs as well. I don't want. They're all sleeping on the sofa. I don't really want to disturb them. Tell you what though, Tom as well. FP, he's got three cats. I don't know actually. That's a good point. Have a look. If it does, I might give it another go later. Right, let's help out these guys again. With this thing. So they weren't running from me, Lyndon. They're running from these hooligans. Ow! Oh, one-shotting.
I'll give you that one.
Come here, you little fuck. You silly boy.
Get off me. I got all day.
You just kicked my dog. Hello, control the mouse.
Get off me.
You hit my dog again, I'm gonna fuck you up. It does have keyboard support. But I'm guessing it doesn't have mouse support, does it? Obviously, it's all well and good having keyboard support, but it doesn't. Well, it's got keyboard and mouse support. Nah, you're bullshitting me. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm just stealing your money. Clothing? No, thank you. Armor? No, thank you. I like your kilt. Yeah, but you know what some of these places are fucking... As some of these companies are like, though. You know, all these small caveats. Hello.
Now there's a face I don't recognise. Welcome to Eastminster. Can I help you find anything?
My soul.
It might be worth stopping by Frederick's farm to see if they need any new hands.
Oh, yeah. No. I've got the only... No, I've got no razor. I've Logitech and Corsair keyboard.
Toby's sort of head down to Trafalgar Square. You'll find all. Until next time.
I will definitely give it another go. In that case, because that would be very, very useful. It's just so cool.
I'd rather eat the shit spewing out of a gentry's arsehole.
No, you wouldn't. Shut the fuck up. Don't want bar. I need weapons, guns. What are you? Are you a doctor as well? Yeah, medical clinic. There must be a gun trader. Weapons.
Anything catch your eye?
Hello, Stanley. Probably. Fuck yes. It's the G305, Tom.
Take a look.
Oh, you have what I want. Holy mama. That looks fun. Yes, it's wireless. As well, though, I've got my other keyboard and mice down here for my servers. I could just use them if I can't be asked to disconnect all this stuff. Right. What ammo was it I said I needed? 280 and 303. Well, I need that, so I might as well take that. Well, I might as well take that as well. You mean that? That does look very fun to use, I'm not gonna lie. What the fuck's the EM2 then? What do you mean that? Yeah, see, this is good to use. The only problem being I can't find any fucking ammo for it. Which is annoying. Like, very annoying. But, you know, is what it is. Well, either way, I've got some more shells now, so I'm happy. You have nothing else I want now. What if I could loot him? What do you want here? Huh? Don't mind me. No, no, don't shove me into the room, you fuck. Alright, Churchill. Now, what have we got here? General Trader? No? Okay. What are you? Pub! Let's see the edge of the world. Yeah. That's cool. Alright. So let's go over to here. Alright, chef, what you got? That fish looks sad. It's a flag bearer. Ali's. So you've only got 2 rounds. You won't be allowed to even come near me. What you got? And you've got 3 rounds. You might be able to do at least 1 hit on me. Okay. Well, that I did not know. I will take that though. Hope you don't mind. Oh wait, actually, that reminds me. Where was that place? That I need to go back there in a minute. In fact, let's go there now. Because they have ammo there I can just pick up freely. I completely forgot about that place. Completely forgot about that place. How do you know that, Tom? Anyway, how do you know that? I love this song. That is true. You do like history. I must admit, I do like a bit of history. You'll like this then. This is cool. Look at all these trenches. Just shame we can't shoot out of them.
Mind the gap and all that.
Shut
a
up.
little close.
Give me. Oh, they've got 60.
For comfort, mate.
Oh, actually. To-do list. Yes, that was. I remember there being... I remember there being one thing I wanted to get straight away. That's obviously a given all the way I fucking play this game.
Yeah, don't mind me.
I'm not, but what I'm going to do is just quick save. Do a little cheeky thing and steal it.
Open fire on this traitor.
You have no shells, but you're still fucking me up. I want your shells so bad. So I'm going to do it again. I need your bullets. Ah, success. Get fucked. Hee. What you got? You've got 3. You're not worth my time.
Where did you
How about you?
come from?
You're not worth my time. You've got 4. What you got? Don't want to look at your nuts and try to pickpocket you. Because you boys are actually useless to me. I remember seeing this for the first time, and I was in awe. Graphically, it looks amazing. Hello, any more Watchmen anywhere? Wait, dog. Exactly, sneaky. You never know what's coming. Come on, Churchill. Tell you what, you stay. So I don't lose you. What you got? 3. Yes, the dog was called Churchill.
You'd have to be insane to take on the Tommies.
Yeah, well, I already have. You know, Churchill. This is Churchill. When he yawns, he looks like a weird dog. I do wish I could have kept dog meat, though. Because dog meat is a lot smarter than that fucking thing. Right, I might have already taken everything I could have taken.
I wish I could meet the Queen.
No, you don't. Shut up. Ooh, chocolate bar. I don't think I'll be able to steal that. I mean, 63 chance. No, it's not worth it for fucking 3, is it? What you got? I love dog meat. It's just something about dog meat I love. I'm definitely not trying to find another Watchman to steal a shell. Is bullets. What you got for me? Probably. I do have a soft spot for German Shepherds. I'll fucking aim at you. You aim at me, bitch. What gun have you got? No, you're not going to give me anything. Hello, don't mind me. Drop it on the floor now.
Save our gracious queen.
The fuck?
Long
You've got
live
3,
our
you're not worth it
noble
either.
queen.
Oh, do you now? Do I know them? Did I meet them when I was in Derby? Oh, that's cool. Right, let's get dog meat and go in. Oh, okay. Physics. Come on, to get back up here.
Rule Britannia.
Dog meat is the best boy. I want that.
Never, never, never shall be slaves.
Oh, look at him. He's a good boy. But you knock dog meat. What are you getting excited for? Dog meat will never ever be beaten. Flame of fuel. You didn't, but I thought you were just going to go anyway. Because I'm going next year regardless. I go every year. Download is my holiday. And now we're back in Mexico. Right. Okay, well, I've got more shells, so I'm happy. So let's carry on with questline. So as much as I enjoy melee weapons, I just love love the M1 camera in this. Oh, bring baby. Well, no, don't bring baby cheese when they're that young. But I do expect you to bring baby cheese. Who do you reckon the headline is going to be? Because I was hoping for MCR, but that's out the window now. My money is on Linkin Park on one of the days, hopefully for Saturday, because I will 100% be there. Maybe Maiden. That cursed night is perfect timing if you ask me. It's like it knew. It was destined for you to be here, the mariachi band playing. Do you reckon Slayer would do a headline act? Maybe on the second stage. I don't think they'd be main stage. Not headliner. Muse, they are probably overdue. I do want to see Muse. I've seen them once or twice. No, surely not. Surely Slayer are not headlining. Way about when, probably, but not now. Though, fun fact, I now know the new lead booker for Download because obviously Andy Copping has stood down. Hey, thanks for the follow, curse now, dude. I appreciate that. Sleep calls me. Lyndon, no worries, dude. I will probably be on again tomorrow. I'm adamant to enjoy this game a lot more now. And to be fair, I'm already having more fun. So I will catch you later on. He didn't. He only stood down. I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. Because this year, the guy I know, it was his first time booking stuff, and I don't think he did a bad job at all. There were water points everywhere. Obviously, shade is always a problem. But no, this year's download was one of my favourite downloads. What you got? Nothing. But yeah, thanks again, Cursed Knight, for that follow. I appreciate it. See what this guy's saying.
Where do you think you're going?
Past you prick. Nah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It doesn't matter what you say. If your name's not on my list, you're not getting through my gate. I will bet my last ticket that it's... Wait. You're not... Oh, yes, I do remember something about a last-minute name being added. My sincerest apologies. Right this way.
Bless the taco. Nah, thank you, dude. I appreciate it a lot.
I'd avoid Piccadilly Street if I were you.
I hope that you enjoy your stay
from Islington of
and you enjoy my stupidity on this game. Yeah, get fucked, you Tommy God. You got nothing on you. That's annoying. What did I make for dinner again? I made... It was a chicken burrito kind of vibe. It was quite nice, actually. Hello, don't mind me.
Where did you go? A little too close for comfort, meat.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Stop running around like a cork.
You said that as I moved. It was a soft shell all day long. I love soft shell tacos. There's a place not far from me actually, and they do Mexican food, and they do the best chicken soft tacos. Oh my god! And they also get I don't know what it is, and I would love to know what it is, but it's like some kind of dip kind of thing where you meant to just dive this taco in. Oh, honestly. Perfect amount of spice. It was just so good. Salivating again. No worries, dude. I will catch you later. I will be back on tomorrow. Probably around lunchtime-ish my time. So if you're around, dude, you are more than welcome to come back in. Stereotypical Mexican guts. What the fuck? Why's that just open by itself? Stay in there, you. Street taco? See, street vendor tacos. Street food in general is just fucking amazing. Me and the missus, we went over to a food festival. And oh my god, I had the best Cajun shrimp and chicken wings. Holy fuck. Hold on, I'm going to get a photo of it now. Hang fire. You all have to be blessed with this. How do I do this? I don't know how to do this. Desktop. See, Curse, no, I really want to see a photo now of that taco. Let's just. That is way too big. But just look at how good that looks. Oh, honestly, there was something about that. With like, I'm salivating. But honestly, it was so darn delicious. So good. Honestly, Kirsten, I shit you not. I had to get a second one of them. They were that good. It was just the right amount of sweetness, the right amount of spice. Just, I'm very hungry now, you bastards. Honestly, but what else? What else did I have there? I had jerk chicken. That was all right, pretty mediocre. But my missus, she had this proper Greek gyros box thing. Oh my god, that alone was delicious. I'm really hungry now. You fuckers.
Rule Britannia, Britannia rule the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves.
Interesting. What you got for me? I would love to have some proper authentic Mexican food though. Well, I'm talking proper authentic. You gonna let me in or? See, Tom, not only do I need to meet your missus, but with you being a former chef, I really miss your food. Granted, the kitchen you were working at was a bit shit. I do miss your cooking. Like those chicken burger things you used to make, and those wings. Oh. Reckon you'd ever go back to being a chef? No, what as in like full stop, never in a million years.
You after some directions, mister?
I can't want to go 4 out of 3 and shoot him.
I'd be delighted to tell you everything about it for the very modest sum of a single ticket. It's a bargain if you ask me.
I mean, if it's only one ticket.
I'm sorry, but you ain't my mate. I'm sure you can find a way to pay for this tour. Now, you done wasting my time? Sure. We can trade for some food if you like. Let's see what you got.
I mean, I'll have you. You've got 300 fucking tickets, you cunt. Yeah, but let's be honest though, Tom. You loved it when I walked into that pub. Came into the kitchen to come see explicitly you. And steal some chips. Have some Indian food? No. What don't I want? Have a spaghetti. Yeah, because then I gain it.
Oh, it's you again. You after those directions, mister?
Oh, yeah.
I'd be Hard cheese, mate, but a fellow's gotta eat. Come back when you have.
Oh, you know what? Just take a fucking ticket, you little
You after those directions,
fucker.
mister?
And here's him just fucking rolling around.
Me? I ain't anyone, mister.
Yeah, see, I can imagine you get some dicker customers like that. You can't say that. It's only one ticket.
That'll do. Now let's begin the tour.
Well, go on then.
Hey, I'm not done yet. Come back here.
Yeah, I'm here.
First of all, this is the Admiralty Art. Same as it was back before the bombs fell, except for the blast gate, that is.
Oh yes, delightful. I'm from England. I know what it is. You fuck. Is that all you're giving me? Or were you bugged? I think you are bugged, because I can't even kill you.
First of all, this is the Admiralty Art. Same as it was back before the bombs fell, except for the blast gate, that is. Back in the day, Admiralty...
Okay, well, I fucked that up, so let's just, you know, load. Because I shot everyone. It's meant to be a really poor English accent, I believe. But she is bugged. She is 100% bugged.
First of all, this is the Admiralty Art. Same as it was back before the bombs fell, except for the blast gate, that is. Back in the day, Admiralty Arch used to play an important role on ceremonial occasions, with processions such as royal weddings, funerals, coronations, and all that sort of thing. Now the only processions that take place are either food or just refugees trying to escape everything outside the walls. It's basically a glorified back door into Westgate, Westminster. It's sad, really. Anyways, follow along. The next one is just up here.
This is the shittest guided tour ever. Just one right in the back of the head. Just one right in the back of the head. Just right there. Oh, come on, you annoying bitch.
I do hope Father is proud of me.
Nope, he's not. Yes, that's a bollard, you twat. You stuck. Just run like her. Fucking idiot. Who are you talking to? What's she doing?
Welcome, welcome! Oh, the grand old Duke of York. He had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. Duke of York column. The Duke is remembered in the children's nursery rhyme, The Grand Old Duke of York. Not the biggest item of interest here. But if you climb up those stairs where that column is, and if you follow the plaza all the way through, you'll eventually bump into the wall again where Piccadilly Circus with the Era statue is.
Okay,
Before
thanks.
you get excited, Piccadilly Circus ain't got no animals.
I know.
It isn't that type of circus. It's a circus because it's circular. It's famous for its huge advertisement signs, different displays, and the Eris fountain located in the middle of it. Piccadilly Circus offers a variety of cinemas, theaters, shops, and restaurants, including famous traditional English pubs. Everything you need and more.
You had me at pub.
And from that is the big scrapyard. That bit isn't as glamorous though, but hey, the shit's gotta go somewhere, am I right? Right, next stop is just over the road. Come on!
Where the fuck did you get my toy from? You're so happy being a dumb dog. Go on, dumb bitch.
See that flat area? That's Horse Guards Parade. It's a large parade ground off Whitehall. It is the size of the old ceremonies of Trooping the Colour, which commemorated the monarch's official birthday. Huh, lucky cow used to get 2 of them. Imagine! Double the presents!
I don't think she's got presents.
If you follow Horse Guard Road at the edge of it here and then left to Downing Street, and you'll find the government at number 10. Still the same cesspool it's always been. Lots to say, but nothing happens. Facta non verba, am I right?
Ew,
okay, so
salty.
sorry if I point a lot, but it's quite a trek and I've got little legs. But yeah, if you go all the way down instead and then down Great George Street on the left, that's where Westminster Palace is.
It's not really a tour, is it?
That's where all the important decisions are made, but the guards never let anyone in. Guess it's good for telling the time, but not much else.
Well, let me, because I'll force my way in.
Last one is coming up. Tally-ho!
We've not just done this first and then over there. What's that? Oh. Yeah, tally out. You heard correctly.
To the
Look
left
both
here is
ways.
St. James's Park. Technically the oldest royal park at the heart of ceremonial London.
I was not full of
It's
creatures. I'm not
has
interested.
fishes in the lake and lots of peacocks for some reason. Enough said. Now, down there is the most humbling mystery of London. Buckingham Palace. God save the Queen. Is she in? Is she dead? Nobody knows. Don't try knocking on the door, though. The royal guards don't like it. And don't fuck about on the fence, neither. But yeah,
This makes
past
you want
that
to fuck
the
around on the
right is
fence.
Green Park, where most of our crops come from. And then the Marble Arch, and then Hyde Park. Hyde Park tends to be where the gentry hold events when they get
See
tired
the
of
park?
twiddling their thumbs. It's got some fancy Camelot jousting event going at the moment. And that's all I got, mister. Totally optional, but if you fancy giving me a tip, please do.
A tip, don't eat yellow snow.
Oh, great! A comedian. I'm going to scuttle back to the main gate. Thanks for listening, though.
Okay, well, you didn't really give me a guided tour, so let's go on a little guided tour. So what's in here? That is water. So this is St. James. Oh wow, no, they're all peacocks. I can talk to it apparently. Can I pick it up? No. Bet you're a pedophile.
I don't know what you want, but I'm busy.
Hello, peacock.
In a hurry?
I am in a hurry. That's a cool dog. Right, okay. So let's do a bit of fuck about, find out, shall we? That I want to drive. Yeah, I just don't see this being realistic.
Step right up. Take a look.
Gotta start being in London.
Take a look.
You get any old shit. Oh, you got 445. A 455, sorry. There is a crane fly in my office. I'm not buying fucking shit.
I'm in touch with humanity.
That's sick. I am after 303 or 208. I want to touch it. So they've got power armor. I got told I couldn't get power armor. Let me in. Why is this electrified? Oops, see, they're wearing power armor though, but with no armor. This is pretty cool though, I'm not gonna lie. Why has he got glowing eyes? Oh, it's a helmet. Alright, placement.
Careful out there. Westminster's not what it used to be. Cavaliers and Roundheads lurk in the shadows.
Alright, noted. I doubt they'll want to fuck with me though. Confirmed. The Royal Family of Lizards. That'd be the final boss. Well, you meant to be a really shit statue. Okay, well this is pretty cool actually. Don't know where I want to go because there's fucking loads. So let's use this thing. And let's go to... Natural History Museum. See what's still standing. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Identify steps are not functional. Wait, can you actually walk around all this? Oh shit, you can. Okay. Well, let's have a look in here, because I'm curious. That would be fucking sick. Just Fallout UK. Yeah, but to be fair though, considering how long it's taken them to make this mod, it will take them ages to make Fallout Birmingham. Oh, well, I don't think I'm supposed to be here because there's a lot of dead things. Now we're in Birmingham. Yeah, I'm friendly.
Approach and identify yourself. Law-abiding citizens will not be harmed.
I didn't do anything.
Identify yourself.
I don't think.
Will not be harmed. Identified. Put down your weapon and submit to authority with search protocol.
I'm gonna die here. Yeah, I think I fucked up here. Yeah, kill me. Kill me. Oh. Thank you. It was only a small team as well, of like probably 5-6 people. It weren't a big team at all, and it was all volunteers as well. I do think though we might switch over to Foxhole in a minute. Not hostile. Okay, I guess I'm always hostile to you then. I am a law-abiding citizen. Oh, did they? That I did not know. Yeah, go on, kill me. Kill me then. Kill me before I kill you. Nah, I'm going to kill myself now. I don't want to survive that. I wonder. I remember seeing something a few days ago. It might have been a week ago actually about Fallout 5 being announced or officially being announced as if in development. But we're going to be waiting years for Fallout 5. Right. Well, I know that's a fuckery. his last game, so we could be waiting a while before he even fucking announces it. We're still waiting for fucking Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, you've played Starfield, haven't you, Tom? What's your take on that in the end? I loved it for a few months. Then it got a bit repetitive. It's a great game. I loved it. That's exactly why I loved it, because it's Fallout in space. You know, I love Fallout. You know, Fallout is my shit. Yeah, I wish it was very similar to like No Man's Sky. How, you know, it was seamless to go into the planets. But unfortunately, it was not. They even said, though, that it was possible, we just didn't want to do it. Why is that gated off? I want to find out. No, it feels like No Man's Sky loading screens. It would have been phenomenal. But one thing they're saying actually, I was reading earlier, or might have been the other day, that there's a Star Wars mod for it that gives it an entirely new reskin, similar to this. It's just entirely Star Wars themed. Yeah, I know. Wait, am I enemy to you guys? Wait, what? I don't understand. I don't think I would be an enemy towards them.
Man, like God save the Queen.
What do you mean God save the Queen? Are they meant to be hostile towards me? So much shit, man. I'm scared if I shoot it, all these guys are going to be against me. No? Well, yeah, exactly. You know, they could have done it in 2 or 3 ways. And I'm pretty sure as well that they didn't build a new engine for it. They reused an old engine just slightly remodeled. Who are you shooting at? Okay, you are hurting me. What? Why am I not moving? And why am I stuck, only looking left and right? Okay, well that's bugged. I can't go forward down, I can only go left and right. You know what? It's getting a bit bugged. So I'm probably going to call it there for a bit, and I'll come back on this tomorrow. But I'm going to jump on Foxhole though. So let's just do the old switcheroony. Just make sure this is all saved out first. Just quick save there. Quit to desktop. Halo is going Unreal. Really? That's a bit nuts, don't you think? Oh, why has that moved? Oh no, why has that moved? You weren't meant to move. There we go. I forgot I was dicking around with that earlier. Just bear with me, we're just switching stuff up. Because we're now coming away from Foxhole, from what's the name, we can start playing different music. So while we're getting stuff booted up. There we go. Microsoft locked up for you. That might be the best way I've heard someone describe something. I love that. I like that a lot, actually. Ooh, why is that going framey? There we go, that's better. Replay queue, we can deal with that. They had a few years ago to keep it enjoyable. I'd imagine the entire team was probably laid off, to be honest, Tom. I'd imagine anyway. I could be wrong. Yeah, no worries, dude. Yeah, but this is why I don't like it when Microsoft develop games. I've never liked them when it comes to developing games. Next in line. Brr. You should give this game, Tom, by the way. I think you'd thoroughly enjoy it. Hey, Godly. As if they've quickly built this up. I fucking love Horde. I mean, yeah, probably. It's good thinking by them, actually. Really good thinking. One of our jeeps locked. Yes. Thinking. That's not a good idea. Let's go across all the way. Respawn on the BB.
Hello there. I know we got pen once.
Hello, I'm back.
Hey, you can repair.
Chieftain's coming. Okay, back. Hold here.
Order the HP check.
I didn't see him there.
No, excuse me, 85.
Okay, repair.
Oh, I died. Never mind.
They might be getting fucked up there.
No, they're not. They're missing a lot. It's a lot of... they're fucked. Go forward. They're fucked. Go forward.
You still in that BTD?
Down the hill, down the hill.
Go all the way.
What is my target? What's the target? What's the target?
One of them's dead. Nice. Go for the outlaw. The outlaw, turn right. Forward. Outlaw's out in the field. Keep going.
No shot yet. No shot. I'll have it.
Forward.
Dead. No, I thought that would have killed him, really.
Loading now.
Nice head. Down the road.
Up.
Forward. Hit the silver hand. He's getting sticky to fuck. Forward.
Chieftain's getting fucked.
Keep going.
Tell me when you're in range, Jackie.
It's a long way, so like...
Okay.
He's up on the pier.
Cover right.
Dead. Back out. All the way back.
You're being reloaded now.
Alright,
Oh,
stop the tank.
play, boys.
Good shit.
Negative STD, negative chieftain,
Negative outlaw.
negative
Outlaw,
STD,
silver
negative
hand.
outlaw, silver hand.
And that is how you wipe out a whole fucking tank line. Yep, I think that's every tank.
There was a bring in HCD that backed up, by the way.
Infantry carried so hard right there, except for the
Yeah.
AOE or the STD kill. Infantry carried that hard.
Back up.
No.
There's a bunch of the tanks up there now, you sure?
This is a great defensive tool. You don't
Yeah,
want to go pushing out in the middle of an open ass field.
I changed my mind. I now officially love this tank. I think I hate on it because of how it looked. About 11 now.
Thornton, give Berg squad lead.
Didn't realize he wasn't. Hang on. There you go. Anytime Bird disconnects, check.
My lord.
They do have another
Hello.
HTD at
What's
Briar.
up, Luigi?
Yeah, I don't know why it wants me to be squad leader more.
I have a bribe.
I love when
Alketo Gaming has been delayed. IAF is doing an operation, so you.
Fair enough. Ooh, I got 2 kids from that.
One of my mods.
What's that?
I got 2 kids from doing all that. Vehicle coming in Northburg.
Okay, say again, Les.
Okay, back tank up.
Man, you need to get these nuts out of here.
Alright, back up. I think it's a brigand.
If I have the opening, I'll be able to take the shot.
It's a brigand.
Our guys are already meeting him. They might die.
Yeah.
They do have another HTD at Briar.
STD or HTD?
Hello, Louise.
They might be AFK.
Keep pushing or still?
Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. I don't see.
Oh my lord.
A lot of infantry.
Berg, did you see what was back here at Pale House?
No.
Outlaw on the
Put
road,
it
by
in
the way.
regiment.
Which way?
Northeast. Outlaw coming in northeast.
Northeast.
Okay, back up.
Oh, I see.
Couple infantry coming down too.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that could be really funny. I used that already this quarter. It was really fun.
I'm yet to use it.
It's good to finally do some tanking with you, Bird. For some reason, with my mods, it got rid of its wheels.
Yeah, same as me. It looks like a floating gun. Yes. That she explains a lot. Oh, actually.
Up on my left.
Can mods cause DCs like that, though?
Yes. Some mods can be game breaking.
Alright, I'm gonna go get rid of all my mods.
Why?
Like, I'd rather have no mods than play with this goddamn shit, dude.
Why do you keep DCing?
Yes, he's DC'd 5 times in like the last hour.
Every hour, dude. It's like ridiculously bad.
Before you remove your mods and stuff, do a quick speed test.
How do I do a speed test?
Just in Google, just type in speed test. Yeah. Because your internet might be dipping up and down, and might not be your fault. I had it the other day.
Did you all die?
Just like my I'm meant to get 2.5 gig up and down. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Though, if it's only started happening, check certain things. Like my ISP was having issues, and they didn't even know until I reported it. Because I was supposed to have 2.5 gig up and down, but I was getting.
It's saying my latency is 49 ms.
That's fine.
Your internet connection is very fast. My download's 209 megabytes per second, and my upload is 44.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
So I think it has to be fine. There's something within my files or something with a setting because this is like.
You've not changed supplier at all, have you, recently?
What's that?
You've not changed internet supplier, have you, recently?
No, not internet supply. The only thing I have changed is my router.
Ah, yes, that might be it. What router is it?
I don't know why.
Because you might have double.
You can actually have degradation on the input of data.
Also, you could be having double NAT issues,
That too.
which is probably most likely because it's trying to what your PC is doing is it's trying to connect to 2 different networks essentially, which
Hey,
can
real quick,
can cause issues.
Is bearing down from the north, like direct north, north by northeast. 2 brigands and an HUD.
Okay, well, I got rid of all my mods except the noise mod. I won't get rid of that. I don't care if I stop.
Only mod.
Yeah, if you got a new routerberg, it's probably that.
It's pronounced router, by the way.
Yeah, it's pronounced router. Router. I don't know why I'm saying router.
I hope my body's still there.
Pronounced router. That's how you
No, it's a router.
No, it's router.
No, it's router.
Terminology.
Look, you took your language from us. Shut the fuck up.
I have no.
Hey, you come back and talk to me when you can say aluminum.
Whoa. No. I'm not gonna allow that one.
Sounds
I'm
like
not gonna
that's
allow
not
that
a sentence we saw with
one.
no.
Over 20 years experience in data telecom, and I can tell you AT&T is the correct terminology that wrote the Pixie code on teledata. It is router because it routes the data through the modem, which modulates and demodulates. Thank you very much.
It's router.
Not router.
It's router.
Router.
It's router. It's router.
We use the word router in my house. Just like we don't call train cars carriages.
Or sidewalk pavement.
Oh,
yeah.
y'all just need to shut up. It's not even that deep.
I know, it's quite funny.
Hey, I'm sorry, but no, that's the one thing I will not tolerate.
What router?
Don't they call Onyx? Don't they call train cars carriages over there?
Son, shut the fuck up.
What do you? Oh, no. What do you call cigarettes?
Cigarettes.
Oh, really?
After
I thought it started with an F.
Yeah, that's what chavs call them. We call them cigarettes normally.
Left side trench.
Back you go up, Burke.
Probably not when it's turning night.
You have got people going into those trenches next to you, by the way.
So you didn't answer my question again. If it is my router that's causing it, then how do I fix that?
It'll be a setting in there. But obviously, without knowing the brand, I can't really help you out.
Give me a second, I'll tell you.
Like mine's a MikroTik router.
That's a fucking lie, by the way. If don't tell him I said that.
At $20 his routers and Netgear.
If it is, he needs to get rid of that very quickly. Because I'm pretty sure Netgear creates double NAT networks deliberately.
It does. I guarantee.
What do they say? The other it's like competition kind of thing. Just won't cooperate with anybody else.
No, Netgear is one of the worst. No, Netgear is only good for one thing, and that's switches. That's it. They are shite for everything else.
Dude, I'd rather use a fucking.
In fact, they're not really good at switches either. I've swapped mine out for all Cisco switches.
How are they in business? If they make shit products, are they in business?
Because the products
they're
are
a
meant for
well-known
certain
name.
businesses. Yes.
They're a well-known name and they're cheap.
It's cheap and consumer grade, not expensive and hard, and trying to think of the word.
They're selling lemons and just not telling anyone that they're lemons because they don't know better.
Pretty much. If you go to any person's house, you'll ask them what switch you got, or how are you connecting multiple things to a network. They'll say, "Oh, I've got a little Netgear switch," because they're cheap as fuck. And 9 times out of 10.
It's like Optimum Atlas something.
Why does that sound like T-Mobile?
Well, it's not T-Mobile.
No, but some internet providers reuse old routers.
Oh wow, there's a lot of everybody's on. Everybody's on today. Hey, Raptor, what's up?
Hey, Rip. Is it called a router or a router?
Oh. I got a pair of binos.
Hey, Raptor, we need you to settle a debate with us. Is it called a router in your household or a router?
Hey, Booch.
Just answer the question. Just answer the question. Is it called a router in your household or a router?
It's a router. It's a fucking router.
What's up, boys?
Router.
Gentlemen.
It's a fucking router.
I brought a bigger weapon this time. Oh, fuck yeah.
We killed 4 other tanks too.
Is this a root? Is it called a router?
Okay, we'll go kill all the
or a router?
infantry.
He did not answer me. He just drove off.
That's a good one, right?
If you were to spell router, it would be R-O-O-T-E-R.
No.
Exactly.
No, router is R-O-U-T-E-R.
Look, come back and talk to me when you can pronounce aluminum correct.
It's aluminium. Okay, in that case, hold on. Rooster, do me a favour. What does that say?
You're practicing aluminum twice.
What does that say, Rooster?
Route.
Root.
Route.
Nah.
It says route.
That says route. R-O-U.
It's root.
Route.
Root.
Why can we not just get along for 5 minutes?
Each other, Ducky.
Okay. Actually, here, regiment chat. What is
that
this?
spells root. Here. This is how I spell
Root. Hold on, no. Hold on. Give me a sec. Right. Rooster. Play that.
root.
No, just play the little sound icon thing. How's it? Is roots? Oh,
it's Oxford languages. Where's Oxford? England. Of course, he's gonna be fucking. Root.
Here's the problem.
So you're saying the dictionary is incorrect?
No, the problem is you're pronouncing root for road, and we're using the word root for.
It's not aluminium. It's aluminum.
Yeah.
If you're going by dictionary and how it's spelled, it's aluminum.
Well, let's ask the Oxford Dictionary how it's meant to be said, shall we?
The guy who invented it.
Only no, listen.
Hold on.
Aluminum. It's only in fucking the US. That's the only country that says aluminum. Every country in the other world.
Hold on. And again, there you go, Rooster. Aluminium.
Aluminium. Let's go.
It's not aluminium. It's aluminum.
I love this regiment.
I remember picking up some aluminium. I saw in a video game called Minecraft.
I love how.
Aluminium, no matter what.
Oh my god, everyone, the fucking Avengers are here.
Hey, okay, hold on, stop. I just want to say this, my message worked.
What did your message work?
Wait. Aluminum with the symbol AI or AL in atomic number 13 is a chemical element located
Are we still on this?
also known as the boron group in period 3 of the periodic table.
Yeah, because
Hey, Turtle, hold on. More importantly, we haven't got the Australians' take on this. Turtle. How do you...
All that we look at them for is the spider and kangaroo breeds. They can't win against the goddamn emu. They have no room to talk.
Bert, didn't America lose to like a fucking pig? Like, shut up.
Yeah, Onyx. You still didn't answer my question. In the UK, don't they call train cars carriages?
Thornton, I don't understand why that's so funny to you.
Because they're not fucking train. They're train cars. They're not called carriages.
Yeah, they are train cars. No, we don't call them carriages.
Over there, y'all call them carriages.
No, we fucking don't. We call them fucking...
You do. I've heard multiple Brits.
Yeah, you've heard. We don't... No, we don't. No, we don't.
That's like you guys saying that we drink fucking Fosters. I haven't seen an Australian in my entire life.
Yeah, that's just stereotypical.
Fosters is an American-made product. It has nothing correlation
Real
of
quick, something
Australia
I learned the
whatsoever.
other day. Kagan, what does Santa Claus wear?
Depends.
He wears shorts, probably.
What were you told he wears?
He drives thongs,
Yeah, he's fucking reindeer and kangaroos.
thongs, shorts, and a fucking singlet. We have a
Sing the song.
Wait, there's a song?
Yeah. Instead of fucking sleigh, it's like a rusty Holden Ute. Picking up the dust, Esky in the boot, Kelpie by my side, singing Christmas songs. It's summertime, and I am in fucking Australia's summer hot or whatever. I can't remember. It's been fucking ages since Christmas. I'll get up the
Yo, Kitsune, you're missing all the fun.
Kitsune,
English
you're really not, dude.
talk.
It's so chaotic in here because the Americans can't fucking spell.
The Americans are better than you, Onyx.
Oh wait, you can't because you'll get arrested.
I'm
Wait,
currently
what?
on the front of Spirit Watch. Alright? So you guys keep on doing
I mean, if
whatever
talking
you're
about
doing.
history,
I'm
that's a
gonna
bit
keep on
too
doing
far.
what I'm
Biden's
doing.
looking. Onyx,
Considering
all I
to
gotta
his-
say is 1776.
All I gotta say is, I don't know what I was gonna say a year. I can't remember what the fucking year was.
That's
now.
the last time you won.
That's crazy.
Ah.
That's because you're exhausted from arguing.
Onyx, I'm sending this to you, and this is.
Yeah, I hit him with the freedom year, and he had no response.
Well, to be fair, there was that many people talking. I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
The fact that he thinks he has freedom.
Oh, I know I have freedom.
Yeah, it's the United States. We have freedom.
That's funny.
Real freedom.
Hey, all I know is I ain't gotta pay for a license for my TV.
Hey, hold on. Hey, I will say this. You have one ticket that I can show everyone on stream right now that I guarantee no one else has.
What?
Well, I want to see this. I'm curious.
He's pulling out his gun.
It's gonna be a gun.
It's gonna be a gun.
His gun
Yeah, it's a gun.
It's a gun.
Any takes up here, boys?
I already know damn well the one freedom we have is always guns. Buddy, I live in a state.
Your stream's just been shut down.
Nope, because he didn't know camera.
I didn't threaten anyone. I just showed him my gun. Here, I'll show you.
I'm pretty sure you can't show this on Twitch.
No, it's live ammunition.
You just cannot point thing.
can show it on Twitch.
Yeah.
The only thing about it
it's
is he
only
cannot
live
point it at
ammunition.
the camera.
Yeah, that's as long as he's just if he's doing a side shot of it, like I'm showing like the side of it, no one gives a shit.
I don't know who the fuck's sharing what. I've got that many fucking things being shared right now.
Onyx, trust me.
No, there's a. I'm trying to get this.
Yeah, your screen's just Black Marine.
I live in
I
one
know
of the most
because
lax
I have
gun
to set
states
it to where
in
it's
the
a
history of the United States. I live in Texas. Okay, I can walk on the fucking road and have a gun holster right now.
Hey,
legally.
hold on,
And
fuck this.
For you boys.
That's it.
Marine, if you want to look at my AR that I built.
You see, I'm glad we don't have that sort of stuff over here.
Oh, now it wants to fucking pop up as the OBS virtual camera. Fuck off, OBS.
Wait, we're racking guns in the mic. We're racking guns in the mic.
Rooster, I've seen your weapons.
Oh god, the
Hey,
AR fucking
get on my level.
See, that I can fuck with. That's quite cool.
See, I have that stuff.
Everybody says the AR-15 is cool. It sucks.
Oh, Mary, do you think you're the only one with a
It
firearm?
sucks. I hate the AR-15. Feels like a fucking BB gun.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yes. Fun fact, Onyx, if you ever in your life try to shoot a gun, don't shoot an AR-15.
I have shot multiple guns.
Yeah, the AR-15 sucks. It's a gun specifically that a kid can carry. It's a fucking BB gun. It's a piece of shit.
Hold on, Thornton.
Which in the UK?
Hold on, stop. Thornton,
Eat it.
do you have any experience with firearms?
I don't think he does.
My father was in the Marine Corps. Okay, trust
No,
me.
he's talking about you. Have you got any experience with fucking?
Yes, I have shot guns. Dude, I live in Texas. I learned to use a gun when I was 16 and 15.
All right, calm down, big balls.
Yes.
Like, I have legs. Yeah, I do have legs.
Oh my god.
I live in Texas.
See, roosters. I've seen roosters guns before.
I was taught how to. At 16, I was taught everything from how to clean a gun, from how to probably hold it so it doesn't break your fucking shoulder blade, from how to load it, how to clean it, what to do, and what not
See,
to do.
over here, the only weapons you can legally possess, well, what you should only really legally be allowed to possess is shotguns. That's it.
No, I didn't possess it. It was owned by my grandfather. The thing about in Texas,
You look like a lunatic right now.
I have two more knives over in my room, my master bedroom too.
I live in Texas.
Oh, you're from England? The only thing that I hate about England is beans on toast. It's fucking
Beans on toast is fucking elite.
Look, beans on toast.
The only thing good about Scotland is fucking whiskey, dude. So.
And haggis.
No. Fuck
Yes,
no.
haggis is fucking delightful.
Oh, haggis is absolutely atrocious. I would rather eat the MRE omelet than ever touch haggis ever again. Fuck you.
One thing I will tell you about when he was teaching me to use the guns, my grandfather, is he was very fucking strict. It wasn't, you're gonna play with this. It's, oh no, you're gonna learn this. That's it a bit. You're gonna learn this, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. It was very strict. He was very strict about it.
Yeah, one in 1911. I just hate how far the slide release is. The two mags out in that pistol case are.
What has this become now?
Dudes fucking hanging out, being fucking dudes.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're dudes.
Thornton, shut the fuck up. Rooster, what the fuck? That sort of shit gets you arrested over here.
Hold on, what does Rooster have?
Over there, not over here.
Over there.
That was like a zombie knife.
I just love, like, how you pull it out of the sleeve. I'm like, oh, it's one knife. No, it's two.
They're called twin swords.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have guessed.
It's my favorite.
They're fuck you swords.
Oh, yeah, I want to sharpen. I want to sharpen.
I own a Glock fucking clone. I own the.
Oh, he's got more.
SPDE 9, Glock 34, and then
show me.
my Rock Island Armory 1911. Those are my handguns. Oh, I also own a Ruger fucking 380, the little pocket pistol. My mom has that. I bought her that for her birthday. And then I got two 12-gauge shotguns. I got a Remington 870 and a Mossberg 590. I own my AR-15, and then I own my Ruger American Savage 308
Do you own a Mosin?
Camo, you have something illegal?
Mosin, not illegal. No. Mosin's not legal. Mosin's a antique rifle. It's a World War II.
You guys heard it here. He committed to a crime on the internet. Go knock down Camo's door. Say, but no, you own an AK? So I owned an AK, but I owned an American version of the AK. It wasn't a real Kalashnikov, and it jammed all the goddamn time. And
it was probably based off the Chinese Carmine.
Dude, fuck you!
Chinese Carmine is a fake.
Motherfucker!
It's Chinese Carmine.
What did?
Dude, I swear to fuck, you not play it one more time. I'm leaving the call.
Play what?
What was it?
The fucking door.
It's too realistic.
What the hell was that?
Oh, I think I have soundboards. I have everyone's soundboards muted. That's why I can't hear shit.
See, I have the most dangerous weapon in this call. I have Vegemite. Nobody can.
Nah, Vegemite's disgusting.
He wins. He fucking wins. He wins.
All Turtle has to do is just say, "All right, we're gonna bring every species of Australian animal to every other place, and we're all fucked." Like,
here's a
Eastern Brown State is scary as fuck, and I don't want to ever experience that shit.
Sorry, guys. Here's a question. Something that a lot of people forget. Guess what the #1 weapon and tool you should always have in a survival situation is?
Tomahawk?
A knife. A knife. Knife and cordage. Knife and cordage. You can do a million things with a knife and cordage.